Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. Today's topic, the heroic poetry of the Old English period. The Anglo-Saxons and the Jews of Germany bring with them their language, paganism and their drishti to warrior traditions as they invaded the Roman colony of Britain in the 5th and 6th century. The Anglo-Saxon people were fierce and adventurous people with the fondness of war and love for the blue sea. Their manliness, heroism, and hard toil are manifestly exhibited in Anglo-Saxon heroic poetry. Here we come across a generally elevated, sublimated, and male-centered literature, one which lays stress on the virtues of a tribal community, on the ties of loyalty between lord and liegeman, on the significance of individual heroism, and on the powerful sway of word or fate. Let us discuss the Anglo-Saxon heroic poems one by one. Beowulf is actually an epic narrative with certain heroic conventions celebrating the achievements of a hero. Beowulf, the son of Ecgtheow, in his youth, the terrible hero Beowulf goes to Denmark to protect Hrothgar's hall and engaged himself to a fearful battle to kill Grendel, a cannibalistic human monster who was ravaging Heorot. Beowulf's second encounter is with this monstrous ogress. By divine intervention, he ultimately killed her with a magic sword. Beowulf's third and last heroic fight is undertaken 50 years after he became the king of the Geats. It is against a fire-breathing dragon, the guardian of a treasure hoard, who started destroying lives and properties in his land. Though Beowulf succeeds in killing the dragon first, he is fatally wounded and dies a death of an typical hero. The language of Beowulf, being forceful and expressive conveyed with an economy of words, maintains the dignity of a heroic poem. We find the reflection of military fidelity and war heroics of Beowulf in other Old English poems also. The Battle of Maldon or the Death of Bruthnot deals with the terrific battle fought between the Essex nobleman Brithnoth and Norwegian invaders under Trivison in the late summer of 993. Battle of Maldon, a poem of 325 lines, is a late example of the heroic tradition and was preserved in M.S. Cotton Otho Art 12. It has an older epic style and examines the stresses and strain innate in the heroic mode of action. The Battle of Brunanburh occurs in Anglo-Saxon chronicles. The historical Battle of Brunanburh took place in the year 937, and the 73-line poem celebrating the victory of the West Saxon dynasty was composed in the same year. It deals with the heroic triumph of King Athelstan and his very young brother Edmund over the combined invading forces of King Constantine III of Scotland, King Owain of Strathclyde, and Olaf of Dublin, leader of the Norsemen of Eastern Ireland. The fight at Finspur, a fragment of only 48 lines, is a spirited account of fighting and brings out the fierce struggle and heroism in which bloodlust is yet very strong. Its allusions played a great part in the making of the Finn episode in Beowulf. Next, Walder is a heroic poem of 60 lines dealing with the adventures of Walder Aquitaine and probably belongs to 8th century. Only fragments of 3 speeches in this epical work survive. In the first, Hildegard encourages her lover Walder to become more courageous and enterprising. The important characters besides Walter and the Burgundian princess were held hostages by Attila are Hagen, a warrior of France, and his king Gunther. In another poem, Judith, though we have only the end of it, depicts in some 350 lines the slaughter of Holofernes by Judith and the triumph of the Jews are the most interesting parts of the story. To conclude, the Anglo-Saxon heroic poems are vivid descriptions of the battles and struggles, yet they are allegorical in the inner interpretation to the fight between good and evil, between humanity and a destructive force, and the weird or forces of nature. The imageries in these poems are full of artistry and poetic inspirations for the English poets of next generations. The most important heroic poem, Beowulf, is a saga of primitive race, their values, morals, loyalties, sacrifice, fearlessness, courtesy, tolerance, and heroism. It is an experience of primitive people marching towards a civilized people.